Hey there guys. So I'm going to try to be starting to upload a bit more consistently from now on and get out some nice videos for you guys. I've got some cool plans coming on, but let's just get right into this war video. I'm probably going to be releasing this in 3 parts of all of Season 29 as one long, Season 29 spectacular. So this first video is just a couple wars. They weren't back-to-back or anything, but these are just some ones I liked because I had some friends on the first 2, and on the last one, it's just a cool war for me. So this fight, if that Killmonger gets an armor, I'm just going to shock and it'll take a ton of damage. But as you see, CGR just has armor breaks for days, and with that power boost, you just absolutely shred him down. On that second SP2, I probably shouldn't have thrown it like that. He was a bit close to probably just blocking me and then coming in. For this torch fight, I was supposed to use Quake, but I talked to my officer. He just didn't know what Hood's abilities exactly were, so I was going over it, just making sure that it'd be fine and safe to use torch. So I just go in, it's just a normal torch fight, take some blocked hits, use your medium, light, medium, and just burn him down. He has some pretty high MD, and I was making some mistakes by triggering my dex there, but it's torch against Hood. It's not gonna go too bad. Even if you were to launch SP2, I'll just have to use an extra potion. It's nothing too bad, really. So yeah, this war was pretty fun for me, to be honest. I know 2 people, mainly, in NEWN, and they're both really good guys. Fun to talk to. So I got to talk a little bit of smack to them during this war. It was a lot of fun. Gotta use the energy after your lane. Be a good alliance mate, you know? So that was section 1 done. And for section 2, I'm moving over to path 7, which is mainly a power gain type of path. This is a Mangog, probably max Mystic Dispersion because it's NEWN, a very, very good war alliance. He's got Spite, and that rise to power node is if I knock him down and then block a hit, he's gonna gain a lot of power from that. So I gotta be careful to knock him down, so I'm just not gonna do that once in this fight, as long as I could avoid it, which I did. Just take an early combo on the block, just build up them smolders. I triggered Dex there, but I have an invul on, which I didn't show me applying, but I know I have it on. So I'm just gonna block this SP2. I'm already up to 12 smolders. He's below 50% with a ton of Nova Flames on him, and each one you add, the next does more damage because of how Torch works. So he's just gonna melt here. 30-second fight, more like 25 because it counts your running in time. Now, for these Quake fights, I have them all sped up because no one wants to watch 3 minutes of quaking, and I know that. But I do a lot of quaking for my alliance, so there's gonna be a lot of Quake fights. If you guys want, I can cut some of them out. But for these, I'm just gonna use the Quake fights to talk a little bit more about the channel and less about the fight. This is a pretty basic fight. I used a friend of mine to duel. He has that R4 Penny Parker. So I got her animations down pretty well. They're nothing too complicated. Most big champions have slower animations anyway, so they're easy with Quake. But yeah, so I've got some plans for this channel. I want to try to start uploading a little bit more often. I've got some cool ideas. I might want to try to do some streaming soon. Just got to try to figure out how to set that up and find the time for that. You know how it is. I dropped a heavy there, but it's really fine. Even if she got to SP1, I can just eat it in the face or eat it in the block. I won't die. As you saw, I had the invul on still from the Mangog fight. And just one last set of aftershocks and that will kill her. Let me know if you guys do want me to start cutting out some of the Quake fights, or if the fast forward is good enough. And gotta do your bit, gotta taxi some people. So this is a different war. This is against Matrix. Now this fight is a very easy fight with what the global was last season. It's just a Quake fight, but I make, we'll say, 3 errors, and they'll come up pretty quickly here. So it's straight counter Fury, so you have those counters up in the top left on your side. If one hits 0, as long as the opponent isn't affected by -100 ability accuracy, then you're fine. But if you hit 0, they start to gain Furies if they don't have ability accuracy reduction. So I'm trying to hope that I can keep up my concussions, because they're pretty big Furies, but now he's got 2. And for a lot of last season, I had been popping invul boosts, but this fight I was like, Green Goblin, this node's pretty easy, so I'm not going to do it. But then I dropped 3 heavies, he has willpower, this fight's taking a long time, I'm almost at 2 minutes in on this fight, and he's at 8 Furies, which if you've ever seen anyone take this node before, you know exactly how much damage 9 Furies, 10 Furies really does do. That's why, like, some people will use like Thing here in the past and try to cheese it with like damage cap. But that fight at the end, I was very sweaty, very shaky. I had an alliance mate back me up there for that Nick Fury with his R3 Archangel. This is now the mini boss right before section 2 with Torch. It's Mephisto with Nova Flames. Like, this is as classic of a matchup for Torch as you get. I don't really even have to take that block hit there, but I just missed the parry. So I'm just going to go in. I went for a 4-hit combo to try to trigger his aura so I could be getting my smolders really quickly, and right as it triggers, look at that, he's at 50% because I'm up to 20 smolders 10 seconds into fighting. He has his regen right now, but he has smolders, so he barely got any health. He has an SP2, almost an SP3, but I'm just going to go into the full 5-hit combo, launch that SP1 to lock him in, throw it again before he gets up fully, so he can't even SP3 me, but I believe I had an invul on for that fight just in case I got stunned. I had an alliance mate give me some energy, and then this fight here is actually pretty fun. I get to use Cosmic Ghost Rider for a Terrax. So this node, if you can't nullify if you're a Mystic champ really every 10 seconds, so you can't really rely on nullify anyway against this guy for this node. So what we did, we were just like, let's just Cosmic Ghost Rider. So I'm using the heavy, light into medium rotation here. So I did that, and right as you launch the special, you should be clearing the weaknesses, but for some reason I didn't until the end. So I didn't get as much power as I thought I would, but I got almost a full bar. He goes to launch that SP2 as soon as he gets it. I should have hit that parry if I'm being honest, but I get that off, I get power back from this, and then something weird happens here. I parry him, and I go to throw it, and as you can see the beam if you go back in the video, the beam is through his body already while he's stunned, and then he dexes it, so that was really frustrating for me, but he didn't capitalize on that, he just left his block open. Another Quake fight here. As I said, I have a lot of that last season, even this season still. With high ground, I'm still quaking a ton, just not high ground champions. Storm here is pretty easy. As long as she doesn't gain a bar of power, she doesn't gain any buffs, so you don't have to deal with the weakness node from that Terrax fight with her here. But, so it's very simple. Just another long Quake fight. So, I have 3 of these videos prepared, which I just have to get out for you guys. I hope you enjoy them. And I'm going to try to see if I can get any other interesting videos out in the meantime while making those. I have an idea for an AQ video or 2 and some guides and stuff. Let me know if there's anything that you guys want to see from me specifically. Could be a champ guide, comparisons, tier lists, whatever. So I got to take a mini boss this fight, or this war, but you can guess who it's with. It's Bishop. It's just another long fight. It's like 3 minutes, I think, of quaking. I did so much Quake last season, it was ridiculous. You'll see the one fight I took, which made me rage at my officer for a bit. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at just what happened in the fight. When you guys see it, I'll point it out. It's such a dumb thing that happened, and I just can't believe it happened still. This fight itself was pretty simple. Bishop, again, kind of like Penny, he's a bit bigger, so his animations are very pronounced. His second medium is when he leans in and pushes his gun up at you. So right as you see that, I'm pretty comfortable without doing a lazy Quake habit I have. If you notice, whenever I Quake, I have one bad habit for sure, which is dropping heavies, apparently. That happened a lot last season. And I do this awkward double bounce sometimes at the end of a combo. Instead of holding heavy down, I do a double dex instead of dex the hit into the heavy. So I lower my damage a bit that way, but I'm comfortable like that. I'm trying to improve that. If you can see, sometimes I don't do it. You can see the double dex right there. And yeah, in Matrix, I have a guy I talk to a lot. He's really nice. He's fake Brian Grant, or the real Brian Grant, depending on who you talk to. Really nice guy. So that's why I made this video the way it was, because I know some people in these two alliances. And then the next alliance that I'm going to show is just a fun one, because I watched YouTube for a while before ever starting doing this, and just like watching master gameplay. And so if you're watching master gameplay in AW, you're obviously going to watch a good few 4Loki videos. With Karate Mike, you got Legacy, you got Brian Grant, you had all those people there for a while, so this is just a fun one for me. So it's another Quake fight against Penny Parker. Very basic, as I said. This one I don't think I drop heavies as much, so that's definitely an improvement upon the other time I did hit counter against the tech champ. I think I popped an invul boost for this one though, because that Green Goblin fight was like 1 or 2 wars previous to this one, I think. So I was a bit scared of that happening again, so I didn't want to repeat that and just like shaking. So this is again pretty easy. So I'm just quaking. It's just Quake fights are all basically the same. There's not like any little detail you change. There's no playstyle change unless it's like Spite or Buffet even. So you just go. Same as with that Nick Fury. I have a good friend in GT40 with me who's really skilled with AA, so he's just going to take that fight. Pardon me. In the preseason, when I first joined GT40 this last preseason, they wanted to see my Quake skills, so they gave me a Wasp on this node during preseason. And this was like one of the first, actually no, this was late in the war season. So I had been a lot more comfortable with Quake at this point. But in the off season, when I took this exact fight, I took a block and I didn't parry it. So the Wasp threw a heavy at me and I missed the dex and I was at like 30%. I just never have liked Quaking Rage because it's a Wasp and you're like, she has no health, this will go really fast. But all Rage fights with Quake take about the same time because of the damage cap. They either have too much health and you don't even like, the cap doesn't matter, or you're fighting like a Wasp and you're just doing like half the damage I should be doing, which is just frustrating feeling as a Quake player. But it's a pretty simple fight. She's very aggressive here, but it's pretty simple. And as I said, this is Karate Mike's Wasp, so that's really fun to see. You know, like finally being up at Masters, seeing names like that. It's just a pleasure. It's an honor, honestly. And this next fight is another one. It's Brian Grant's rank 3 Morning Star, which is another fun one. I think I was also assigned Quake for this one, but I went in with Torch because Torch, actually no, I was assigned Torch for this one. Torch is just way too good. You'll notice, I think on this fight I do it a bit more. When I'm building up Smolders, sometimes I just parry and just do one light hit because I run Petrify, so when they're stunned they gain like 20% less power. And this is Power Focus 2. But as you see, I got my Nova Flames from getting Flame On, so I just do that. I eat that on the block, does no damage. I don't need Torch for any more this war. And I think we beat New Nation, Matrix, and 4Loki. 4Loki was actually what ended up giving us top 10 Masters last season. And so that'll be that for this video. But before you go, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be on the lookout for parts 2 and 3, and the start of season 30 should be just on the way as soon as I get it edited. Have a good one.